Yeah, but we ain't wait for nobody to put us on. We put ourselves on, and we put our people on. And so when we think about remedying our wildest dreams, what's some of the things that come up for y'all?
In my wildest dreams. I personally, for a remedy, I want it to be like a retreat site, where you can take your office or your church or, a group of children from this age or adolescents from this age, and they can come have this holistic experience, from the zip lining, the dining hall, to the theater that they have there, to, like rock climbing and lakes and things like that. I want remedy to be so holistic. I want Black people to experience mental health and self-care in its full capacity. It's not just therapy. I sit here and I go to therapy and, me talking about my emotions for this length and feeling drained, but it's also engaging in other wellness activities, and really wanting it to be this holistic experience. I want land. I want,
we want land.
Success. I want land. Absolutely.
If you have land, we want it.
Yes.
Call us. So, we got sticks. We can start building tomorrow.
Yeah. I want remedy to be this umbrella term, I want it to be a household name. I want it to be a conversation starter. I want remedy, to host, like you said, we're hosting karaoke. We're hosting this. We're hosting this. Affirmation cards with remedy, this big thing in Black mental health. Unapologetically focusing on Black mental health. I want to be that in the community.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank y'all so much for being here. Those that are here, I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome to Remedy Retreats conversation entitled Grief and Gratitude. I hope everyone's having a great holiday season. Our ladies are here and they're ready to share. But before that, I do want to see for those that come in, drop filler words, let us know how you're doing. Like I always say, let us know how you intentionally choose enjoy today. What does that look like for you? So if you watch, let me see who's on here. How you intentionally choose enjoy, that's important. But one thing that we're going to talk about today is grief and gratitude. Hello, Matt. Hello, Miss Maddie. Hello, Miss Mickey. So glad to see y'all. Look at the saints. When the saints go to worship. All right. So glad that y'all are here. So we're going to talk about grief and gratitude. For those that don't know, hello, Miss Banks. Hello. Thank you so much. For those that don't know, Remedy Retreats is an agency focused on Black mental health, and we service our community through focusing on tragedies, traumas, triggers, and triumphs. We do this through content development that we put out and share on social media, as well as, and primarily, our retreats, which you'll hear more about very soon, very, very, very soon. All right. So as we frame this conversation for today, two things to know when it comes to grief and gratitude. First thing to know is grief is not a linear experience. There are 5 stages to grief, which we can we've talked about before. We can revisit again. We'll probably delve into it in this conversation, but it's not a linear experience. So some days you're going to have a great day. Some days are going to be tough, and some days are going to be hard as hell. It's just the truth. So with that, you got to give yourself grace through the grieving process. So that's one thing. And secondly, is understanding that we don't just grieve people when they die. You can grieve seasons. You can grieve where you used to be. You can grieve people that are alive that you're not in communication with anymore. That is possible. So as we talk about grief and gratitude, I hope that you're not just listening, but taking notes on things that you can apply during the holiday times and beyond, and things. Hello, Brooke. Hello. What's good, Will? I'm glad y'all are here. So glad y'all are here. And things that we can apply, because we don't just want it to be a good conversation, which I know is going to be very fruitful, but I do want us to apply these things and have remedies, no pun intended, all pun intended, remedies that we can apply that will be very helpful for us, all right? All right, so y'all in here, but y'all got to drop filler words. How y'all doing? What y'all up to? Thank you so much, Miss Mickey. Thank you so much. Let us know how you're doing. Now that I got all that out the way, I'm excited for us to delve into our first conversation. You've seen the promotion, you've seen her looking fine on her picture and all that stuff, but I'm very excited to bring somebody that I've known. No, I've known her all my life. She's known me all my life. However that works. So hey, Angelica, so glad you're here. Hey, Brittany, exhausted yet grateful. I know, sister, I'm still praying for you. I really, really am. All right. So I'm very excited to bring Miss Brandee Nelson Mack. Hey, Brandee.
Hey,
How you
how are
doing?
y'all? I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good, good.
So we'll just go ahead and go with I've been knowing you. Now we'll go with you've been knowing me all your life. We'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
So we don't have to talk about age. Okay.
Okay. What we are gonna talk about is so Brandee, from what I know, she hasn't been to jail, but until today. So Brandee, tell the people what you've done. This is a safe space. So tell
jail. I'm in Facebook jail for 72 hours. I barely said anything. Y'all gonna see the fur child jump in this thing. But yeah, I'm in Facebook jail, and I'm not ashamed, but I'm ashamed of them because I can't say nothing on Facebook.
You can't say nothing. You can't say nothing. So if you're on here, if you know someone that's grieving or someone that's going through, share this with them. All of us know somebody that's having a tough time. So as we dive into this conversation, if you know some of Brandee's friends, y'all may have to go on their page and share this. But seriously, we do
tag me in it. Tag me in it.
Yeah, tag Brandee. Do you get to see it? Do you get to see it if they tag you?
No, I won't see it, but other people will. Like I can still go on my page. I'm just not. I can't comment on anything. So
you locked up. They won't let you out.
Let me out.
Angelica said, "Tell Mark to free Brandee."
I ain't even did.
That is funny to me. All right. So I'm excited. Y'all share, tag people. I know this is going to be a very fruitful conversation. So Brandee, how are you doing today during this holiday season?
That's a good question, because today I'm doing well today. Today is one of my good days. Really was focused on waking up and determined to get some things done, and not kind of focus on the holiday season as missing something. So today is a good day, and that's how I take it day by day.
Awesome. And it sounds like setting the course of your day at the top of your day is very critical.
Very critical. Very critical.
Good. Okay. So I want you to introduce yourself to people. I was going to do bios, but I went to public school. My reading ain't always that well. So so let the people know who you are, what you do, where you are, and how what you're looking forward to for this conversation.
My name is Brandee Nelson Mack. I am residing here in Kansas, Kansas City. I'm a little bit outside of Kansas City in the suburbs, and I'm originally from Houston, Texas. So Houston is my home, but I've relocated to Houston and to Kansas, and so I did that in the middle of a grieving battle. I am the owner of the Couture Culture brand. That is my umbrella for all of my businesses: event and wedding planning, home and office furnishings. Also, I'm an author. I am a notary, a loan signing agent. I am a mother of 5 beautiful children. I have a blended family. I have 2 biological and 3 from my husband, and I love them all the same. I'm excited to see them when they come home this weekend and the beginning part of next week. I am a wife. Oh, what else can I say? I'm also operations manager at the Word Church. Shout out to Pastor and Lady J over at the Word Church and my family in Houston. So I am operating that from Kansas, out of state. So I'm loving this. People complain about the pandemic, but this is actually something that I really, really love, that I'm not stationary to one place. I can really just move around if I need to and still get the job done. So I am looking forward to this conversation because I need to have the conversation. I've had it with a small group of people. But I think that going to another platform, going to another level, discussing my walk in this grief journey and navigating through it is a place that I need to be in, because there needs to be truth behind grieving. I think that that a lot of people get a lot of misconceptions. I think that people try to comfort those who are going through grief, and sometimes those words and the things that they say are not really
Not really
can't do
comfortable.
nothing with it.
Yeah.
You can't do nothing with it. So that's what I'm looking forward to out of this conversation today.
For sure, for sure, for sure. As you can see, Brandee's resume is quite lengthy. So I wasn't going to read all that. She got it. No, but thank you for sharing that. And what you're saying, sometimes people's intentions can be right, but that delivery can be so wrong.
Exactly.
And it has to do with timing. It has to do with the circumstances and all of that. And you pointed out something already, that it's your healing journey. I think that's important for those that are watching, those that have watched the replay, to know that everyone's grieving journey is different. We all cope in different ways, especially when it comes to healthy coping mechanisms. We all cope in different ways. So during this grieving process, we know grief is not easy. But sometimes the hardest things can be the best teachers. So I'm interested to know, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned on this grief journey and grief season?
The biggest thing is I am a caregiver. I'm the caregiver of my family. I'm the caregiver in my circle. I'm the caregiver. It doesn't matter what's going on. I'm the caregiver of others, because it's just how my heart is wired. But in this whole navigation, it has been me being the caregiver of myself first. I going through therapy, I realized that I suppressed a whole lot. And it really has to do with, even if as African Americans, we're told to just be strong and keep going. I've lost people before. I've lost my sister back in 2011. I lost a child who, that was practically mine. You know what I'm saying? It was a family member's child, but I love that boy just as well as he was mine. He got treated just the same as my children, and he died at 7. That I went through depression with that. That was depression during the time where therapy was not an option. That was depression during the time where just pray about it. And I went through 6 years of depression during the time of his death and his birthday. And the bad part about it was his birthday was 2 days after Trey's birthday, my oldest. And so they always celebrated birthdays together. But just imagine me being a mother and I'm grieving this child that's no longer here. So I was kind of disconnected from my children, although I did the motherly duties. I was there every day. I was present, but I wasn't present. And I wasn't present because I felt like if I got too close to my children, the Lord would take them next. So those are the thoughts that I was having, but I had nobody to help me sort through those thoughts. But I suppressed a lot over the years because it was always, I couldn't stop here. I can't stop and deal with this emotion. And I'm really not big on, I am now, but there was a point in time where I wasn't really big on expressing myself. I wasn't big on speaking up for myself. I wasn't big on having boundaries. Those things were just not a part of my life. But in 2020, we were already dealing with a pandemic. 2019, my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer a couple of weeks before my birthday, had surgery on my birthday in 2019, and we were told she only had 4 weeks to live. And so that was a rough point in time. And I saw my mom fight for a whole year. Just dispelled everything the doctors was telling her, because she was just determined to live. But that was something that we were prepared for with losing her. She didn't lose her battle to cancer, but just the fact of us losing her physically. But we were ready for that. I still went through, that's when I first started grief counseling, and really didn't have a good experience with it. It kind of felt like my therapist at the time was just trying to listen, or, was just there to get information. Like, or let me put it like that. We just know she was just a nosy Black woman who called herself a Christian therapist. And I really didn't want a Christian therapist. I know y'all gonna shoot me. I know y'all are. I know y'all are. Y'all gonna shoot me. Because
I won't.
when I'm in therapy, I don't have time to try to find the politically correct words to speak on about how I feel, where I'm at. And me, I'm very respectful. So if I know you're a Christian counselor, I'm going to be reserved. And there are going to be some things that I really can't express, or I really can't talk about, because I'm going to feel uncomfortable with talking about that to you. And that's based off of orientation, Deontay. We've both been in the same, we've been in church all our lives, you know what I'm saying? Church babies. And so my dad she passed away May 30th. Went through trying to figure out, okay, now I'm the matriarch of my family. And how do I fill the shoes of my mother? And what does life look like for my dad, for me, for my children, my husband? And it was hard during that point in time, which I know my husband doesn't mind me sharing this, but my husband actually lost his mother exactly the same way I lost mine. I'm talking about verbatim, in 2016. And so during that time, he was trying his best to be a support system to me, but he was grieving all over again. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? His mother had just passed, 3 years prior to that, 4 years prior to that. So he was still like, I cannot believe I'm going through this again, with a woman that I've loved as my mother, with her being my mother-in-law. But my dad struggled. My dad struggled every single day. He cried and cried. And I had never saw my dad cry. I know that's crazy.
And for those that may not know, how tall was your dad?
6'7".
Yeah. George Nelson was not a small man.
No, giant.
No, he's a giant. Literally a giant.
Yeah. So to see him cry and struggle with what is life after that was hard for me. And so we were all as a family struggling, just struggling. We were just struggling as a family, trying to find our way. And that August, he called me out the blue, and I mean, he was just like, matter of fact, I caught COVID. Immediately, I was just stressed because my dad had congestive heart failure. He had a pacemaker, diabetes, all of these things that was stacked on top of that, and grief. I think that people just accumulate grief as just an emotion. We carry grief. I've gained so much weight from that because we carry grief in our stomachs. So, people look at you and be like, "Oh, you gained this weight, girl. You've been eating good." No, I'm carrying grief. I'm trying to sort through this thing, and he went into the hospital that Saturday. That was my last time seeing him, and he would talk to my brother during the week because he didn't want me to see him, with tubes and him struggling to breathe. And he finally called me that Wednesday. We FaceTime, and I was so happy to see him. And we talked for about an hour. He talked about Bishop Dixon. He talked about this, and he, was talking about retirement from pastoring in March of the next year, which would have been this year. And the very next day, he had a massive stroke due to COVID, and he passed away that night after we left the hospital. I was devastated because I'm the baby of the family. So, and I'm a daddy's girl. And I was devastated because all I could think of was, how the hell do I live my life being parentless at 38? What do I do? What do I do with this? And I called my pastor and them. They were the first phone call I had. I had text Crystal, and I called my pastor, and I let them know their hearts were broken. I mean, we were all on the phone just crying. And he told me something that I didn't know I need permission to do. And he said, Brandee, I know you. I've been with you for 10 years. And I know that you're able to be strong and bounce back and get back at it. He said, but this time I need you to feel it. I had never heard those words from somebody. I never heard that it's okay for you to feel this way. It's okay for you to be angry. It's okay for you not to be okay. I've heard it, read memes about it. But personally, people always see me as being strong, and that's it. So at this point in time, it was like a father giving his daughter permission to just spread her wings. And it has been a very, very long road that's not done. It's been a roller coaster. It's an amusement park ride I'm ready to get the hell off of, but I know that I can't. I have to go through these ebbs and flows, because this is what's making me become who I've always supposed to be, that I could not become that with the lessons that I had not learned yet, if that makes sense.
I get it. First of all, thank you for your transparency in that. Because for anybody, I know that's not easy, losing parents.
Yeah.
And for me, I've seen you interact with your parents. You were close with your parents.
Yeah.
I miss your mom posting on Facebook her food.
Everybody.
I miss seeing your dad smile, and so to hear you share that, thank you for that, and for valuing us as a safe space to share that. One thing I think is very true, what you're saying. It sounds like you went from being a caretaker to being a self-caretaker,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not taught how to do that.
Yeah.
No one tells us all the time. We like you said, we say it, but no one actually teaches us rest. And we say all the time with Remedy that rest is a learned behavior. Self-care is also a learned practice. So I'm glad that you shared that. And also, I just wrote, thank you for acknowledging therapy.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I need somebody, and this is the important things about therapy. That's just why I'm very glad and grateful for the Dream Team, which we'll hear about in a second, is how you need therapy first to let you know that you're not alone. Mm-hmm. And secondly, for you not to suppress it. And sometimes you got to talk, you got to talk that shit out. You got to just talk it out. You got to just talk it out.
That's it.
With a non-biased person, somebody that's going to say, hey, look, this is what it is. And you got to do the homework that follows with that as well.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that when you say that, it's I got to talk this crap out, because let me tell you something. I was still some days still angry, because I didn't only have to deal with losing my parents. I had to deal with his church. Still. And I don't mind talking about it, because I don't have, what I'm saying? Because at this point in time, I've never been so vulnerable in my life. I have never been an open book for people to really have to, I had to go through this in public. You know what I'm saying? People thought that, that she just had to bury her mom and her dad 87 days apart. We got locked out my daddy's church 2 days after he died. Body wasn't even cold. Still don't have my parents' personal items. And the reason why I don't have them is because I'm not going to pick up something y'all packed up. I don't know what's in it. You get what I'm saying? So, anger came from grief, because that's one of the 5 stages. And there are times when I get so angry about it, but that was in the beginning, because one of the things that I have learned, and Tony Evans, um, I think it was his one of his books that I read, and he said anger is but for a moment, because God's anger is just for a moment. When it comes to us being humans, when we're angry, we're only angry for a moment. I know we don't want to acknowledge it, but when it comes back up again and again, it's hurt, it's disappointment, it's I can't believe that somebody would actually do this to a family in the middle of them already grieving. You get what I'm saying? Because not only did I lose my parents, my children lost a second set of parents. I had my son at 17. So my dad was his second dad besides his dad. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter, when she was born, that was my mama's baby, because I didn't like going to the store with my mama. I didn't, growing up, I was a daddy girl. If he had to go make a sale, if he had to go kick down the door to take furniture back from people not paying their rentals, you know what I'm saying? I was with him. I was a daddy's girl through and through. So I didn't really go places with my mom and hang with her because she stayed in the store too long for me. But when my daughter was born, that was like her ace boon coon and her road dog. So I had to nurse, and still my kids went off to Deontay. One of the things that I want to say about my daughter and my son too. Crystal was a senior in high school when my mom really started declining. Mm-hmm. And then we went into the pandemic, so nobody was in school. They were online. Crystal packed her bags, packed her laptop, went to Brenham, and was the caregiver with my aunts and my other family members for my mom. Wow. Until her passing. Even so, during the summertime, she was a caregiver for my father, because my dad didn't know how to cook. My dad didn't know how to do anything. You know what I'm saying? So Crystal was there. I came to wash clothes every weekend. I came to change his linen. Crystal was there to cook and to make sure he ate around the clock and take his medicine and all this and that stuff that my mom did. But she graduated high school. She went off to Southern, and I think that during that time, because Crystal went off to Southern 2 weeks before my father's passing, my dad was grieving that, because here's another lady a woman, a part of his life, who went off to school. Yeah. He was grieving that too. Trey went off to start welding school and was going to welding school through all of this. He got a little distracted when my dad passed, but he got back in it, and he graduated on the day that my dad passed, a year later. So it's like things come back in full circle. But I want people to stop saying this. Time will heal it. Because that's not how grief works. No. That's not how grief works. I heard a therapist say this on TikTok. I'm addicted to TikTok. I can say that. But I heard one Black therapist say this on TikTok. He said, imagine yourself as a small mason jar, and it's filled with grief. It's filled with it. He said, that grief never leaves. You just have to you have to grow around it. You have to live around it. You have to continue to grow. Every step, every cycle, you got to continue to grow. That grief is still going to be there. It's just going to get smaller and smaller, but it'll still be there. Don't try to make it as if grief is just going to disappear. But one of the things that we do face, Deontay, in our time of grief, and especially during the beginning stages of it, we're looking for somebody to save us out of the pain. So when people come to you and they're looking at you for help, that's because they want you to save them out of the pain. So when people call me, I know you've been through this. I know you lost your parents last year. tell me what to do. And I'm like, you have to stop looking for somebody to save you from this pain. You got to feel this.
Yeah. We talk about that a lot, Brandee. You have to lament in it. You have to feel the feels to process it all.
Absolutely.
You got my one of our dream team members, Brooke, always says, sometimes you gotta sit in your shit and sort it out.
You got to sit it.
You got to sit in it and sort that shit out. So, because that's very, very critical, because I have to feel all of this. I have to feel it. So I appreciate you sharing that. And something else that is important, when you said your therapist, I'm glad that you didn't get discouraged and stop going to therapy from your experience, because I've heard people say that before. And therapists is like dating. You need to see, is this person compatible with me?
Yeah.
Look, you can't be stepping up on people we on the dance floor. Look, are you compatible? And it's okay. Like, it's their job. They're not your savior. So it's okay to go find someone else that's more befitting, especially when you're paying your money, huh?
Exactly.
Especially.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I appreciate your transparency on that. I do want to ask you, with all that you said, losing your parents, and even you having to deal with your children going away. I know you're proud of them, but them going away, and dealing with the church issues and all that. I won't even get into all of it. I won't even get into it as much as I want to. I won't even push that. But I do want to know, because our theme is grief and gratitude, how do you stay grateful and maintain gratitude amidst your grieving?
I stay grateful if I'm looking forward to having a future. That's really where I'm at right now. If I'm looking forward to having a future, being successful in my future, I have to be grateful even for the loss of my parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not all the way there yet, but there are times when it comes across as, you know what? This here, it's like a revelation at every cycle.
Yeah.
And I realized that my dad couldn't make it without my mom being here, and my mom probably couldn't survive with my dad not being here, because they had been married for 44 years. 23 of those years, Deontay, they worked in the same building and seen each other every day and lived in the same. You get what I'm saying? So
yeah,
to have that taken away from you, it's those are the revelations that I hear. But however, my gratefulness comes from the fact that if I sat down with my dad right now, he'll be like, Brandee, I need you to look around and see what you have around you. Because we had that conversation after my mom died. I texted him, I said, Daddy, I can't take this. What am I supposed to do? Because it was like, when I saw my mom, because I had just left her hours before she passed, because she sent me home. She said, you need to go home. And I drove back to Houston, and probably a couple hours later, he called me and told me to come back because she was gone. So when I got there, she was still there. My mom was so peaceful in her sleep that when I saw her, Deontay, I thought I was going to lose it. But I had a smile on my face because I watched cancer suck the life out of her in her struggle. And I said, Mama, you got what you wanted. Because she always said, I just want God to take me in my sleep. I don't have to see my mama. I don't have to see nobody before I go. Just take, how mama talks. So I'm grateful because my dad told me during that time, he said, thank God that you're not sick. Thank God that your children are well. Thank God that your husband is well. You got things working for you. Those are the things that kind of keep coming into my mind about him. So in order for me to have a future, I have to be grateful for what I have right now. I'm relaunching my business. I kind of shut down for the time being. I was still doing a little bit here and there, but I wasn't pushing myself like I would normally do, because I couldn't do it. I emotionally, I couldn't do it. I there were days I couldn't get out the bed. It's still days like that where I got my laptop, my iPad, my phone, and I'm working from my bed because I can't get up because I'm so heavy. I just experienced it right before Thanksgiving. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, that thing fell on me like a heavy brick, and I cried every day because that's what grief does, But I'm grateful, number one, because during the time that I was not looking for a husband, I got one. Because I can say this, and I'm gonna try not to cry. I couldn't have went through this by myself without a partner. My husband has given me a place and a space. Like you say, this is a safe place. I have safe arms at home. I don't have to, if I'm not okay, I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm, really just really down, I can tell him that. And he gonna say, okay, and he'll plan for us to go grab something to eat, sit outside because I like nature. It's a little cold outside right now, so he gonna take me, on a picnic right now because he know I ain't gonna want to sit out there. But he gets me out of the house because he knows those are because you have to have a plan during those moments. That's what my therapist taught me. She said, Brandee, during the holidays, we're gonna have to have a plan. What is going to cause you to come out of that, to feel it, but also come out of that rut so you won't get stuck. And one of those things is you got to get me out the house and you got to take me somewhere. I got to go and do something. Go to IKEA and walk around. Like I love Christmas lights. Take me to go see Christmas lights. Just little stuff like that. But when I couldn't pull our family and I couldn't really be in the place of a caregiver for everybody, he stepped up.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for my children. They make me happy. They make me happy. I'm grateful for friends who turned into family that said, I don't care if you call me every day and talk about your parents and talk about this, I'm going to listen every single time. And that, to have a firm foundation with relationships and people, part of your life, Deontay, that cannot be replaced.
Yeah.
That can't be replaced. That's priceless. So
for sure. Thank you for that. And I'm reminded when you're talking, God is always in the details. It's in the details. He didn't just let you meet a man that loved you. He let him go through a season to prepare him to serve you in the season that you're in. And even to hear how Trey graduated a year later from your dad's passing, God is in the details. And it's the small things that that may not seem significant to everyone else, that may seem they're small, but they're significant.
Here's another crazy one. Not to interrupt you. So I have nieces. My brother has no girls. No boys. I'm the only one with a boy. My niece, Makia, is at North Carolina A&T in North Carolina. And my mom kept saying when she had cancer, she said, I want to be here for her graduation. I want to be here for her graduation. I want to see her walk across the stage because at the time she graduated from high school, we weren't able to make it. Scheduling wasn't good, and so we weren't able to make it, and my mom was so disappointed. Her and my dad were so disappointed, and she kept saying, I'm gonna see her walk across that stage. My niece is a senior at North Carolina A&T. She graduates in May. My mother's birthday is in May. My mother's birthday is May 14th. My niece graduates on May 14th. So the details, brother.
Yeah. And sometimes that's the little ray of sunshine you need on a dark day.
Yeah.
It's for God to remind me, like, you haven't forgot about me.
Yeah.
I'm still on your mind. I'm still your child, even in this valley. Scripture say, you either walk through the valley. Yeah, you gotta go through that valley though.
Yeah, gotta go through it.
You gotta walk through it. He didn't say he was gonna let you surf through it. You gotta walk through that valley where it's cold, where it's dark, and not let fear sit in your heart. So I'm so grateful for you sharing that. Now, if y'all got questions, y'all may want to drop them now because some of y'all got to get back to work. But y'all drop the questions. But Brandee, I do want to know is there anything you want? Now, I'm gonna do this right quick. Two things. Now, on Instagram, we call it talk your shit. But here, I want to know what blessings and things that you're grateful for that you want to brag on that you ain't bragged on already. This is your space.
Wow. I want to brag on, just becoming an author, and being able to write that book. I had already had a book that was in the process of, and still in the process of being written. And I've been writing that book since 2009. It was just in the middle of that, God said, I need you to write something about grief. I chose you for grief, and I'm gonna renew you by faith. Because I actually just was like, God, I can't do you and church no more. You took my mama and my daddy, and what I'm supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
I ain't do nothing to deserve that. So I'm grateful to be a author. I'm grateful for the things that's about to happen in my life, the abundance that's coming, that's already here. I'm just waiting for it to manifest itself. I'm looking forward to purchasing my building for my businesses. I'm looking forward to purchasing the vehicles for my businesses. I am grateful for my future. I'm grateful for now, and I've already expressed that to God. I've already expressed that to myself. Like, I'm so grateful for where I'm at, but I'm grateful for the future that's about to happen, because it's about to be crazy. There is no possible way. My parents were. I look at them as seeds. I look at their death as seeds. And you telling me that there are seeds in fertile ground and nothing's gonna come back out of this for my family? We just walk away with nothing? Because that's where my faith was struggling.
Yeah.
Because when the situation happened with the church, and we having to come out of pocket for certain stuff that we still needed to happen, to put my father in the ground, I felt like I had nothing. I felt like me and my family had nothing. We got nothing out of it. And that was really my anger with God. I was like, so somebody give their life to ministry and church for 24, almost 25 years, and nothing?
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry about me, because you're not going to catch me. You're not going to catch me giving. You're not going to catch me in it. And the Lord was like, oh, okay. All right, go ahead with that. Let's see how that's going to go. But I had to have those. I was honest with God.
For sure.
He couldn't help me if I wasn't honest with him. And me being honest with him, he had to tell me, don't estimate the seed that was planted in the ground when your parents left, when I took them back. Don't underestimate it, because I got something in store. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the harvest.
Absolutely. Look, and I'm a firm believer. You're gonna live to see it happen.
I am on this side.
On this
I
side,
gotta see it in glory. I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see the goodness of the Lord right here on earth.
Right here. And it's also, I want to point out before we close, God is not intimidated by your honesty nor your anger. He ain't nowhere intimidated by it. So, Brandee, thank you so much for this fruitful conversation. All your fans are chiming in. I know, but on a serious note, knowing you, knowing your parents, and knowing your amazing kids, I'm looking forward, and I'm grateful for you, even in this grievous season, for you to share. And my prayer is that as you're sharing, God is healing. Thank you so much, Brandee.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
No problem. Thank you. Oh, that was good. I'm glad y'all are still here. Thank you. All right. So I know y'all are waiting. She ain't going nowhere. Miss Crystal is still here. We're gonna bring her up. But for really quick, some of you all know about the Dream Team. Those are the people that are at the core of Remedy. It's 5 of us. It's me. Then there's the other 4 licensed therapists. They're all open for booking. But I want you to meet them. Unfortunately, they couldn't be here today. But I think you may be able to meet them really quick. And after this, we'll come back with Miss Crystal.
It's nothing like the Dream Team.
That's the beauty of Remedy, is creating space for our whole selves, so that every time I show up anywhere, it's in the fullness of who I am.
A lot of people like to minimize the big things that they consider little things. You know, when you sit and weigh things out, has this person caused you more harm than good? You know, when I think about this, have I been minimizing our relationship? Do I rationalize their behaviors due to their trauma? Oh, they trauma bonded, they got trauma, they this, they that. I don't care. That your trauma is never an excuse to mistreat, misuse, and abuse me, ever. Like, I don't care what you've been through. I won't allow it to be an excuse for you to mistreat me. And so when it becomes more detrimental than positive or than healthy for you, then yeah, you may be trauma bonded. You know,
sitting there like thinking about reoccurring themes was like waiting and staying the course. Waiting and staying the course. And while others were saying it, it was like we were speaking to ourselves, because like we have this anticipation of Remedy is gonna take off and it's gonna blow everyone's mind. And so it's like we gotta keep waiting and staying the course.
Like you said, we need to see the variety of the spectrum of Black people.
Yeah, man.
And that's what we built on, is that we want to see every type of Black person. We don't care where you come from, but because Black people are not a monolith. We love to say that Black people ain't a monolith. We want to see all them Black people.
Accepting that just because I could doesn't mean I'm called to.
You know what?
Yes, I could do it because I'm off that day, but this is my off day.
Yeah. Listen.
All right, so I'm excited. She did it so nice last year. We had to bring her twice. So Brandee's conversation was very fruitful, and I'm excited that Miss Crystal is here. And I hope you got your notepads and all that. We're gonna give us talk about some tips and things we can apply. So share this. If you got to go back to work, share it again. Somebody else just took their lunch now. So Miss Crystal, how you doing?
I am great in the midst of my crying and laughing. And that's how grief is. You cry, you laugh. You laugh, you cry. So listening to Brandee's story, I was in the midst of tears, of crying. But, you know, you have to trust God and trust the process.
Absolutely. So I'm excited. Everyone loved you last year, so it was only right for us to bring this back. And I think what we're talking about today is going to be very, very helpful for people, not just during the holiday season, while we know that comes with its own type of triggers and all those things. These are things that can be used beyond the holiday season on our daily things that we can share. So let's dive into it. You ready, Miss Crystal?
Yes, sir. Let me talk. Thank you. First of all, thank you and Remedy Treats for what you all are doing. I am following you all. Y'all have some valuable information. Y'all doing an awesome job. Keeps on. Just keeps on. Keep doing what you're doing. And everybody catch on. When they catch on, it'll be too late because y'all be so high. They're going to be like, oh, I should have caught them at the bottom floor. I'm on the bottom floor, the middle floor, and I'm going to go to the upper floor with y'all. Okay. So keep doing what you all are doing. I appreciate it. Because mental health is real. It's real. It's really real. And we have to really know that that's what we're dealing with. That's life. That's a part of life. Well, my tip number one, because you have to brace yourself. You have to put on those brake pads in your car and make sure you come to a complete stop. Well, my tip number one is you have to plan for holidays. Holidays includes birthdays, Father's Day, Mother's Day, whatever holiday it is, you have to plan for it because you know it's coming. Christmas is in 2 weeks. Most of the time for holidays, you're with your family, you're with your friends. So you have to plan for it. You already know before it gets to Christmas that it's going to be some loved ones that are not there. So you plan for it. You got to get yourself mentally prepared, emotionally prepared, because holidays are going to come and you are going to miss your loved ones. So that's my tip number one, plan for the holidays.
Yeah. And we always say with Remedy, thank you for that, because we always say prepare for your pain.
Yeah.
If I know it's going to be a hard day, if I know their birthday is coming up, and Brandee pointed this out very well, I'm not going to fight this battle laying down.
Right.
And joy is a weapon. I think we said that last year. Joy is a weapon as well.
Yes, it is.
So thank you for that. So I hope we take a note. So we're going to prepare for our pain. Okay?
Right. And tip number 2 is recognize that the holidays will never be the same because that person is not there. That person is no longer physically with you, but you have to make sure that you know that they're not going to come back. You know, I ain't heard nobody came back to from heaven to earth. No. You're going from earth to heaven. So that person will not be there. So you have to realize that. And you have to accept it as also as realizing that that person will never be back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And understand, and I think you're going to get into this in a second about the traditions. The holidays are going to be a little different. And that's okay.
Yeah, it is very okay.
That's okay. That's okay. And let's be honest. Sometimes we want to keep the traditions alive that grandma and them was doing. Right. We want some of that stuff we don't want to do anyway. So it's okay to lay it down as well. It is
right.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I think about when you know how you have traditions and you used to do this and you used to do that. Well, everything changes. You know, you're changing from a child to an adult. So the stuff that, like you say, your grandmother, your great grandmother, and them did, we didn't want to do them anyway, but we had to be obedient to their teaching. So we did exactly what they told us to do during Christmas time. You know, say your grace, sit down somewhere, and don't talk about nobody's food. Nowadays, you talk about anybody's food, and you'll be okay.
Yeah. Look, you better not post it, because I'm going to talk about it. You better not post it. You better not post it.
Right. So it is different, you know, and not saying that you're not going to miss that person, but it's going to be different without them. So you have to adjust to that it's going to be different.
For sure.
Yes. My next point.
We got plan for the holidays.
Yes.
All right. Then look, you got your scribes here. I love it. Let me shout out some of these comments for people who have to leave. Mental health is there. Hey, Miss Rita. Hey, Miss Deborah. Hey, Miss Karen. I hope this is being helpful to y'all. Let us know. It's helping us. I know that for sure.
Right.
Helping us. All right. So we got our first two. What's our next one, Miss Crystal?
The next one is be careful not to isolate yourself. You never want to be alone when you're dealing with grief. You want, you know, the quiet times are good because everybody needs quiet time, but don't just isolate yourself. Sure. You know, even if you don't want to talk to nobody at the time, during the time when like Christmas first started, you know, you wake up and you're thinking about your loved ones and you're missing your loved one. Don't stay in that place. Because that place will cause you to have depression and anxiety. So what you want to do is move from isolating yourself to being where people can call you and check on you, you know, and see how you're doing, because that talk would help you become a little bit better dealing with that grief journey. So that's the point. That's the point.
You just got to talk that stuff out. And I'm guilty of it. And I know this is a safe space. I'm going to say it anyway. Sometimes I just got to get out the house. And what Brandee said, I just got to see the sunlight. Because we don't realize sometimes the vitamins and just how much sunlight really does help us.
Right.
And you can, and what Brandee said earlier was very good. It ain't got to be nothing with a price to it. If you want to go see the lights, walk around the mall.
Absolutely.
I was going to say try on clothes at the mall if you need to, but they don't do that no more.
They don't do that no more. No.
Yeah, they don't do that no more. That's old stuff.
Right.
So thank you for that, because when you stay by yourself, you think you're alone.
Yes. And you don't want to be there. You don't want to be like that. You want to make sure that, you know, you accept a phone call. You don't have to accept all the phone calls, except one, because that person is concerned about you. And, you know, they want to make sure that you're okay. You know, make sure you're in a safe place. And that does help the healing process, you know, that you're going through.
Yeah. And you never know, that one conversation can lift you.
Yes, it can.
Yes, it can. And know who are the ones that you can talk to.
Absolutely.
Because you may not want a scripture that day.
Right. No. Yeah. You might not want a scripture. You might want to, you know, spend some spirits. In your own time. Lift it up. Yes.
Yeah. I'm always, anyway. Yeah. I think that's very, very helpful.
Yeah, it is.
So don't y'all be isolating yourselves.
Yeah, do not isolate yourself.
That's good.
Do not. Okay, surround yourself with life, people, and activity. That's the same like not isolating yourself. You want to make sure that you go and do something. You know, you don't have to go to everybody's house. COVID don't let you go to everybody's house. But, you know, what I try to do is like during Christmas time, my dad always allowed me to go and shop for my mom. And so, you know, I would go buy gifts for her. So missing that ball, what I do now anyway, even though she's going to get a gift for me, and for him, he gave me the money to go buy her a gift. Mm-hmm. I still try to buy things that my dad would want my mother to have. You know, even though he's not here, but that helps me because he would say, you know, don't go buy her a dress because she got 59,000 million dresses. Don't buy her no hat. She got 59 million hats, you know. So I would try to find a gift that would represent my dad, you know. And so that helps me because even while I'm in the store shopping, I will call him and say, well, Dad, what you think about this? You know, and he'll have something to say. But now when I go shopping and he's not here, I still hear him laughing about things that I asked him about on a gift. And so that helps with the healing process too, because even though the person is gone, you can still feel what they would want you to do and make the right choices. You know, so do something. Don't just not continue your life, you know, find something to do in memory of them.
That will make, and something like you said, to make them proud, because I'm sure as much as it helps you, it's also helpful for mama as well.
Absolutely. Because I tell her, you know, Dad don't want you to have that on. Where you going? Dad didn't, he wouldn't, you know, you got to tell, you got to remind them. And, and you know, then that'll open up a conversation. And, you know, and then we'll go down memory lane talking about what Dad would say, or any of our loved ones would say, you know, to that point. I have to reference my dad because, you know, I lost my dad. I lost a whole lot of relatives, but I can relate back to referencing my dad. So that's why I say my dad. But, you know, it's some other, my aunts and my uncles, I can relate to things that they have or what they would say. So, yeah.
For sure. Miss Ida, watch out now. Watch out now. Yes. Okay, let's see what some people are saying. Okay. This is helping. Thank you, Miss Karen. Thank you so much. Thank you. Miss Kim, hey, you've been in my prayers. You really have.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah,
this is gonna be available for replay. Y'all share this if you can, so other people can get some of these great jewels Miss Crystal is dropping. Yeah. All right.
Another tip is to honor the people missing in your life. And how you honor them is like people in your life, you know, that have impacted your life, your loved ones, and I'm gonna use my dad for instance, that you keep that legacy alive by talking about them, about sharing things that they would, you know, give you some advice, or you have memories of them. You know, my thing now, since we're COVID and, you know, we're not seeing a lot of people, one thing that I said that I wanted to do with my relatives this year is for all of us to get on a Zoom. And, you know, and we have so many people in our family that we have lost prior to COVID and prior to, you know, just life anyway. And we can talk about things like what mama used to say, what dad used to say. You remember Annie did this, you remember uncle did that, and that keeping their legacy alive, because we have not forgotten the nuggets and the wisdom that they poured into us, because we want to be able to share it and let it live. So, you know, honor that person. Do something like in their memory. I tell people for the longest, when this was while my dad was living, I used to take my kids downtown to the homeless people to look, you know, see how grateful they were. So we would take blankets down there to the homeless people. Now, when I'm doing blankets, I'm doing it in memory of my loved ones. So whether it's my dad, it's my aunt, it's my cousin, or it's a member of the church, you know, I'm saying to myself as I'm doing it, oh, I'm doing this in memory of da-da. I'm doing this in memory of so-and-so. And that way, that's keeping them, you know, you remembering them, you remember the good times that you had with them, and, you know, some laughter will come out of it, and some cries will come out of it, but you got memories that you can live on.
Absolutely. And that's something we focused on this month. I think last week with Remedy, our remember theme. Is because so often, and one of the reasons we did that was so often we think not talking about the person or not saying something is better. No, it's suppressing them. Like, because you know, we know that they're gone. Like that's true. And different ways that you can honor them. That helps you in healing. And another thing that I've seen to be true, Miss Crystal, is especially when you said storytelling. There are some stories that you learn, especially the younger generation. You're like, I never knew that happened.
Right.
I never knew.
Right.
And though it's like seems like it's new news, it may not be, because you can share different things when folks are gone now.
Well, it's history. You got some history with your family that the younger people don't even know about. And not only that is you can remember things that they don't even know nothing about, and they can appreciate it. We had so many funny things that happened through my life. When I was little, with my uncles and my aunts and them and my dad was a jokester. So that's where I get my laughter from all the time, because we just like to laugh at different stuff. And what I find funny, people are like, oh my God, that's so crazy. But it's really not, because I saw it different than the person saw it. So, and then when you share it, everybody would know. Let me tell you this funny joke that happened to me this week. So I know God got a sense of humor, right? So I was in this establishment, and when I walked in, the first thing I said was, oh my God, that man looks like my dad. Okay. And so I know the holidays are coming. I see a whole lot of things about my dad when the holiday coming, right? And so I kept saying, I sat down and I kept looking up. I said, God, the glasses are just like my dad. I said, okay, God, you got jokes today, because I know my dad is not here, right? So I say, well, I'm going to have to get up, because I kept looking at the gentleman and I kept saying, I got to get up. I got to get closer. I say, my glasses doing something. I got to get close. Yeah. I walked halfway across that room, and I get to the person that I thought was a man. Okay. And I get close up, and it was a woman with nails. And all I could say was, God, you got jokes. You really got jokes. This is not even a man. I say, but this is what happens to me. I don't know what happened to y'all during the holidays, but I see green trucks, because my dad had a green truck. I see somebody riding a bicycle, because my daddy rode a bicycle. And God, I say, God, you got real joke. But I laughed so hard when I got down there and saw that it was a woman. I knew that, that was my way of saying, okay, my dad is still, he joking with me, and God is joking with me. And I had a good laugh. Now, I used to cry, at the beginning. Oh, I was a crazy case. I mean, I would cry so much. I was like, okay, God, you're going to pull me through this here. What is wrong with me? I was chasing green cars. I was chasing people.
I remember us having a conversation about that.
Yeah, I would leave my house chasing green cars, thinking that was going to be my dad in the car. I would see an older guy on a bicycle. I would chase that person on the bicycle, thinking that was my dad. But see, the jokes get funnier as you keep living, because you are accepting and you are healing. So that's a part of the process. You have to accept God's will, and he'll see you, you'll get healed, and you'll find some joy in it and laughter in it. And that's how I'm doing with my grief journey, is that every time I see something that reminds me of my dad, I'm going to call somebody and say, oh, y'all, let me tell y'all about what just happened. And it just keep that jokester that he was alive.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I did want to point out, I see your comment, Miss Cynthia, and I know that we do miss Miss Nellie, and I'm praying for you and Miss Sherry. I definitely am. And look, I know you say you're okay. It's okay to not be okay either.
Yes, it is. Look, yes, it is.
No, we are praying for you. We are praying for you.
Definitely, most definitely.
God knew you needed a good laugh, and He wanted to put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what kind of glasses you had that day.
I had these.
Look,
I had the same glasses on, and I'm telling you, I walked in and I say it's getting close to the holiday. Every holiday, Father's Day, I experienced something. Yeah. So I'm letting you know the holidays brings about, you're gonna really think about your loved one. Absolutely. Now, if God gonna have any jokes for you, I don't know. Yeah. But try to find some, because that's what I'm glad I'm able to find things happening with me, and I can share it.
Yeah, and that's important. Finding moments to choose joy.
Yeah.
Finding moments to choose joy. Like
absolutely.
You can break down. A joy is always an option somewhere.
Right.
You may have to dig for it, but I think that's big. Okay.
Right.
What's our next one, Miss Crystal? What you got?
The next one is to make sure you take care of yourself. Yourself. You can't take care of nobody else until you take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
you are no good to nobody else until you take care of yourself. If someone in your family dies, or your friend, I don't care, your neighbor, and somebody that meant something to you and have an impact on you, you need to take care of yourself. You need to spend some time taking care of yourself. Whether you're crying or laughing or walking or riding or whatever it is, exercise, do something to take care of yourself. Eat right. A lot of time when people die, people don't even eat because they so numb, to the whole process. But make sure that you take care of yourself, because you want to take care of yourself mentally. You want to take care of yourself physically. You want to take care of yourself emotionally, and you got to take care of yourself spiritually. Mm-hmm. No matter what the situation is, when someone dies, it's God's will, and we have to accept God's will. Now, spiritual is the last thing that people think about, because some people are angry that it happened, and it's not accepting God's will. And when you don't accept God's will, and you get angry, don't stay there. Like Brandee said, do not stay angry, because you don't want. Yeah, I didn't want to hear when my dad died, God is good. No. I didn't want to hear, okay, you don't do all that crying, because you can't bring him back. You crying like you don't have no hope. Yeah. You don't want to hear that.
What's what we say at funerals? I hate it the most. We loved them, but God loved them best.
But God loved him best. Yeah. Nobody wants to hear all that at that time, because sometimes you're in shock, you're numb. Even though we all know that we have to die and we're going to die. No. Mm-mm. Even though we all know that we're going to die, we don't know when or where, but it's still a pain. It's still a pain. But you don't have to stay there. But the first thing that I don't want to hear in my pain, if I hit my finger right now and it's halfway off, I don't want you talking about I'm going to bring you a Band-Aid. You better call 911. Yeah. Because I'm in pain. Yeah. And so that person is in pain. And so everybody experiences pain differently. So you have to make sure that, you take care of yourself, and make sure you know the right things to say to people when they're going through. Because there's a lot of wrong things that people are saying. Now, I'm telling y'all, I'm putting all this stuff in my book so y'all can buy it.
Look, they're going to buy it. Oh.
So y'all can buy it. Now, I told Deontay, now I can't keep coming on his show and I don't have no book.
Look, so y'all can get it. Look, so this is you. So this means this time next year, 2022 got to be your year.
It got to be.
It got to be. You
claiming it, I'm claiming it too.
Yeah, I am.
I'm almost there.
I know.
God keep giving me so much, and I know I ain't gonna be able to tell it all, so I got to do volumes of it.
Yeah. I definitely say it sounds like volumes and tours. That's a whole nother thing. Okay, I think that's really big, Ms. Crystal. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing.
That was really the last tip. That was really it. Make sure that you take care of yourself.
Yeah. And I want to say we're taking care of yourself primarily for caretakers, to care of somebody, or people that because let's just say caretakers. If you're a caretaker, if you are used to going to their house at a certain time or being there for a certain amount of hours, you have to revisit, okay, what does life look like now?
Right.
What do I do? Like, and I think that's very critical. And I said dating your therapist a few minutes ago. You got to date yourself. What do I like now?
Yeah.
What brings me joy?
Yeah.
How do I recharge?
Yeah.
Because rest is a learned behavior.
Right. And one thing too is if you're in a pattern, with taking care of somebody, or you're in a pattern like with us, we go to our parents' house all the time. So if you're in a pattern in doing that, and then that person is gone, then you have to repattern yourself. It's my mom is still on Herkimer where she is. She's still in her house, but my dad is not there. And for the longest, I had to repattern myself. And how I repattern myself was I don't go the same routes that I go to my mom's house anymore, because it's so much that reminds me to look to your left. You see your dad on the bicycle. Or look to your right, you see your dad working on somebody's car, in the neighborhood. So you just repattern yourself, and even if the house is not there and the person is not there no more, it's okay to ride by there, because you still have memories of what you did at the place that they reside. So that's, you know, that's healing. All that is really healing you through the process.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Miss Crystal and Miss Ida. Thank you for this comment, for acknowledging that, because I can imagine you need breaks like that, because because especially when you do it from your heart.
Yeah.
Because what I know, Miss Crystal, when you give like that. Hold on, somebody said Cash App. Hold on. Yes, yeah, I'll put mine up. Yeah, you can text it for this. I'll put this up. I don't know what you came to do. No, but seriously, I think it's really important for us to talk about that, because it's okay to relearn life. It's
right.
okay. It's totally okay. It's totally okay.
Yes.
All right. So, Miss Crystal, I want to ask you. I didn't prepare you for this one.
Okay.
So, how are you managing grief and gratitude? How are they coexisting for you, and what are you grateful for in this season?
Okay. Grief is a journey. I think I told this last year, so I need to tell this again. When my dad got sick in November, and then my Uncle Calvin died, then my Uncle Ralph died, then our cousin Sawyer died, and then my Uncle Bubba died, and then my dad's sister died. It was like a 2-month cycle for our whole family. So of course, I missed my dad died in March. So it was every 2 months somebody in our family was dying. I might not have the order. If you asked me last year, I had the order. I don't have it now because I'm healing. Yeah. But in that process, it was 2 months. And I just felt like I was on an emotional roller coaster. And so diving into the Word of God, because, you know, you have to really, that's my foundation. It should be your foundation, because God's word is true. And just knowing that his promises are true. You know, God doesn't take anything away from us because we belong to him. Mm-hmm. And so knowing that we all gonna die, we just got to be prepared to die, because we don't know when or where. And so, you know, just going through the journey, and it's helping me to mend, you know, from the pain of losing so many people 2 months apart. I'm grateful that I'm able to share with people, and I share with a lot of people, and I'm able to tell them about my experience as well as listen to their experience. And, you know, I'm just grateful to be a servant, to be honest with you, because you never know who you're going to meet and when you're going to meet people, and being able to say the right things to the people when something happened to them. And I'm just grateful. I don't think that God know my purpose, my assignment, and, you know, and what I am supposed to be. People can call me that I don't even know, because I'm on Facebook, and they see some of the stuff that I have to do by being in ministry for 21 years, working for Bishop Dixon at the Community of Faith Church. And they see the things that, you know, that I do. I have people calling me out the blue. I had somebody call me yesterday from a funeral home, asking me if I can come to the funeral home just to help them walk through the process. Because a lot of people are not prepared for the process. But it's a process, whether you prepare for it or not. Everybody's going to die. And so I'm just grateful that God is, you know, allowing me to do what I do for people. And it's a joy, and it's a pain. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's more pain than it is joy.
Yeah. I was watching, thank you for sharing that. I was watching Pastor Keith. I'm going to bring Brandee on too. Brandee, you ready to come back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, before I tell y'all thank you, I was watching Pastor Keon. He made a point on Bible study recently. He said that batteries have a lot of power in it.
Oh, yeah.
And they have power, but you have to have a negative and a positive.
Absolutely.
It takes the negative and the positive for the power to come out.
Absolutely.
So you have to have the joy and the pain coexisting for your power to be manifested. Absolutely. So I want to thank you all personally on behalf of Remedy for all you've shared with us, for putting all You're amazing, Royal Red. But seriously, I know that in my sincere prayers that as y'all are sharing, that we're healing together.
Absolutely.
So, thank you, ladies. Thank y'all for commenting and all that. So we're going to close out with a video for you all to learn more about what Remedy Retreats is doing and what's coming up. We have some retreats rolling out in 2022. And if you're in Houston, you may want to keep your ears to the streets because we got something coming very, very soon. But comment if you've been blessed, there's a like that, so you can support everything we're doing and what we're implementing to do, especially addressing tragedies, traumas, triggers, and triumphs, because we need this and we all need to heal together. So Thank you, ladies, again, and thank you everyone for joining. This video will be the closeout for us.
Tragedies, traumas, triggers, and triumphs. Remedy 19 is about centering the lives, the stories, and the experiences of Black people. We have gone through the most historically, yet within our families, within our communities, we're not having the hard conversations around how life and its experiences, belief systems, generational patterns are influencing and impacting how we move and how we show up in the world and in our personal lives. So we wanted to specifically carve out protected, safe space for Black people to sit and to do that.
One thing that I got out of this experience today is the importance of community, coming together as one. As Black people, we come together for so many things, but we don't come together for mental health and mental illnesses, and it's so important because we're the community that needs it the most.
So far, this experience has been life-changing, beginning of something new. Kind of like struggle with mental health for a little bit, but I feel like this is something I can get into and kind of help me along my journey.
Remedy 19 ultimately is about mental health in the Black community. We often, in the Black community say what happens in the home stays in the home, and that can be very detrimental in it. And we've internalized a lot of the things that we've experienced, and so we've kept them in home, and now we want everyone to start sharing that trauma, being vulnerable and finding strength in vulnerability. A lot of people view that as weakness, but we want to kind of change the stigma as far as how do you view vulnerability. That is a very strong aspect of you, to be able to be vulnerable in a shared space with other people.
This has been a wonderful experience thus far. Even myself being a person who has experience in this field, I've even gotten a chance, an opportunity to think about the things that I've gone through in my life, and that's been so important to me. It's been wonderful. It's been I've just been smiling all day, honestly. It's just been so amazing.
Today has been mind-blowing, life-changing, and a shift for the culture. This event came about basically about a conversation on the need for Black mental health, especially among Black millennials. We deal with so many things on our own, and coincidentally, we're all going through the same things together, whether it's grief, whether it's hurt, whether it's loss, whether it's thoughts of our past that we haven't reconciled with. But this is something for healing for all of us in various forms.
We really wanted to take a dive into the hard things that have impacted us and have shaped us, and create awareness around our triggers and how we're moving in our relationships with people, others, self, God, the community as a result of that.
And there was a lot of us just coming together, being able to discuss some things that may have been taboo, some things that you don't usually get to discuss in such an open setting. Just making sure we had a good, safe environment so that everybody continued to work together and go through their issues, talk about the traumas and things like that, so that they can, come to grips with everything and really work through their problems.
The day was awesome. Very much so something that I wanted to do in my profession, in my life, is just bring mental health into the Black community, because I feel like, it's something that we've struggled with for years and years, and now that I'm capable of helping people through some of the things that they dealt with, I want to do that for my community.
I think that some important work and conversations have begun today, and I think that moving from this place, people will have the tools they need to further that personal process, and also to just know that as a community, we're here for each other.
To see everyone support each other through whatever they may have been talking about, and give encouraging words to that person, even if they were struggling in that moment. So the sense of community and just supporting each one another as we talk about difficult times in our lives.
realizing that God's hand has truly been on this event from the beginning, and as we set our intentions and our work and our own personal finances behind it, everything has just come together so beautifully.